So in this example, we're gonna use AngularJS filters, which are a very nice feature of AngularJS, and we're gonna use them to make a little bit of order on our templates and prepare for our private parties and for inviting users to our private parties. So the first thing we want to do is to take the list of users from party details, the list of users that you want to invite, and we want to filter it only for the users that we need to invite, and not for all the users that it looked right now. So let's add a new filter. Let's create a directory called filters, and let's create a file called uninvited.js. And here we'll create our filter. So first of all, this will be under our Angular application, and let's start defining it. We'll call it uninvited, and it will return. Now filters work that they iterate over an array and then just return true or false for each item if it should be returned or not. So first of all, if we see that there's no party, let's return false. Then we want to see if we want to return true always unless the user is the owner, which means we don't need to invite him, and if the user is already invited. So first of all, let's iterate over this. So the nice thing about Meteor is that it gives us an underscore on the client side, so we can use all of the great underscore functions. So let's iterate over users, and for each user, let's check first of all if this user is the party owner, or if the party invited list, which we'll create in a second, contains our users. So for that we can also use a underscore contains. And so party invited, which we don't have right now but we'll have in a second, and user ID. And if that's true, we want to return false, else we want to return true. Okay, so we have our uninvited filter. This could be obviously be simplified, but I think it's a good way to see how we work with filters. Now let's go to our list of users to invite. Well, let's name it users to invite. And now let's use the filter. So to use the filter, we just use this thing and call the filter uninvited, and this will filter everything that is happening here. And we want to send it parameters, so the parameters are aggregated with this sign, and we're just sending a party. Now the users will be we will see only the users that we need to invite. So let's try it. Let's run Meteor. And let's run Meteor, and now if we go to the fourth party, we see we only have, before we had both of Uri111 and Uri222, but now because I'm the owner of that party, I'm not here. So that's nice, it works. Now, what will happen if our user is signed in with Facebook? It won't have an email address. So we would want to create something like a filter that takes the user and uses some kind of function to show its display name. And display name can be like, if it's can see, look at the user and see if he has an email address, use an email address, and if not, use his name or something like that. So let's create this filter. Let's call it display name. And let's copy that. And call it display name. And again, remember that the files are irrelevant. Like, you can create any file you want. It's just for ordering purposes. Meteor just runs over all the files and aggregates them for you. So now this filter will go through the user parameter, which he will get. And then, if we don't have a user, let's just return nothing. If our user has a profile and it has profile name, then return the profile name. Else, if our user has emails, then return the first email. Like we do right now. And else, just return the user itself, whatever it has. So that's our filter, and now we're using already this filter here by just aggregating that. Now let's create a filter. We can also filter with a function. So let's add a creator to each party list. Like who created this party? So let's go to our party list, then let's add here a creator. So let's do like something like that, add a p tag, and inside the p tag, posted by our creator, which is a function that takes the party and returns our party creator. So let's let's create it on our, let's create this function on our controller. So let's go here, scope.creator equals function party, and now we need to return the party's creator. So if there's no party, just return nothing. Then let's extract the owner. So var owner equals, and now we need to get user by ID. We have the party, but we need to get the user by ID. So we'll create something like that. In the meantime, let's just call the future function get a user by ID and pass the party's owner ID. Now, if we haven't got anything from the owner, we can just display nobody. Now, let's do another thing. If it's the owner is me, the user that is connected right now, let's just display me. So we can access the root scope to get the current user that is logged in. We saw that before on step 8, and we can see if we have a current user, if we have his ID, and then check if that current user's ID equals to the owner's ID. That means that's us, and then we'll return me. And if none of that is true, it means that will just return the owner. Okay, so now we're missing scope get user by ID, so let's define that. And this will get a user ID. And we're just gonna return meteor users, which is a predefined collection. Don't find one and the user ID. And that should work. So the only missing part here is that in this particular controller we haven't subscribed to the users. So if we start from here, we won't have the users available to us. So we need to subscribe to that. So let's do that. Let's do meteor subscribe users. And now let's run it and see if it worked. Looks like there's a problem. Let's have a look. Root scope is not defined. That's true. So I'm using here root scope, but I haven't added it to my dependencies. So let's add that. It's important to remember. Now let's rerun the program and have a look. Yes, and you can see that all those parties are posted by me. And let's go to our local host. And we see that it's posted by the user, because it's not us, but we have everything here. So let's just change the function to take only the email address or something. Oh, if this is not me and this is the owner, so let's. What we can do actually is just go here and use the filter we already create, display name, and let's see that it worked. Yes, so we can see we can just use our predefined filters, and there's a lot of predefined filters by Angular, and there's also libraries, and I linked in the tutorial for a few of them that has a lot of predefined filters.